How's it going, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, it's all about what's in my Veto Pro Pack 2023. Stick around.
This video is sponsored by Bluon, upgrading the HVAC industry, and by RLS, original, patented, proven.
Okay, so to start things off, the bag that I am now using is the Veto Pro Pack Tech OTMC. This is an open top style bag, and I've really been enjoying it lately. So first off, typically when you buy this bag, it comes with a much larger handle that comes up, and it's not movable. It's basically static. It does give you plenty of room to get down into the center, but to me, I found it to be in the way. So like always, I like to customize everything that I use. All I really had to do was remove these bolts, and that whole handle came right out, no problem. So I put the bolts right back in, and I took a handle off of a different bag, one of the smaller bags that I have. So that way it's nice, compact, it's a lot more streamlined. And what I like about it is when I get to the job, let's say I'm doing an install and I'm gonna be hanging out for a little bit, I can quickly unclip the handle, set it aside, and now I can easily access everything inside the center with no handle in my way. So that helps me tremendously, being able to pull out whatever I need to get to, and I'm not fighting with a handle that's in the way. Again, it's not a huge deal. It's not a deal breaker of any kind, but for me, I'm just always tweaking and adjusting things. So I said, hey, I already had one of these laying around, and it worked out perfectly. One thing to note, if you're gonna do this, that this particular handle is not designed, and these buckles are not designed for the amount of weight that I currently have in here. So just keep that in mind. But so far, everything's working well, has little swivels on it. But typically what I'll do is I'll actually just disconnect it from one side and just flip it over out of the way, and you're good to go. All right, so now that I've got that out of the way, I wanna address the center of this tool bag because it's different from any other tool bag that I've seen, and that's gonna be the center part. So basically right here you have a very strong plastic insert that goes in there, and you have this that slides out. Now that's pretty cool because they have these grooves, and if I go ahead and take my meter out, I can show you that the way this is designed, it can go in any direction, but you can slide it in here. You can basically move it around depending on where you want it set up. So for me, I have it set up to where it's right in the center because that basically divides what I have going on in the center. So I'll put this right in the middle. My meter goes on one side, and then my gloves and my headlamp go on the other side. And to me, that keeps everything nice and simple and clean in the center, not a bunch of stuff going on there, so it keeps me nice and organized. So while we're talking about the centerpiece, the meter that I'm using is the meter I've been using for a long time. Now this is the Fieldpiece. This is the SC460. So I like this meter. It's small, compact, and like any other Fieldpiece product, they're super rugged. But I really enjoy using this meter. I have several other meters, so bigger meters depending on what I'm doing, but this is my go-to. This is the bag that I'm using every single day on every service call, every install. So more than likely, 95, 98% of the time, I'm using this meter. So anyway, that's the meter that lives in the bag. And in the centerpiece, let me slide this out of the way for a moment. I have a little clip. And right now we just got out of the heating season. So I had this little tool here, which is really nice for cleaning flame sensors. So I'm actually gonna be removing that now that we're going into the cooling season. And then I have the little specific tool that you would use for removing those locking caps, the ones we don't really like to use, to be honest with you. So anyhow, that's what lives right there. And then on the inside, I keep it pretty simple. Electrical tape, 2 Milwaukee tubing cutters, and a couple refrigerant adapters. So these are 5/16 to 1/4. So that way if I'm working on a ductless system or any system that has 5/16 ports, I can quickly grab these and hook up my gauges or probes. I typically use probes, and that way I've always got these in the bag just in case. And then last but not least, we have a set of normal jumpers and then a 3 amp resettable breaker. So if I'm checking low volt shorts or anything like that, I'll plug this in. It has 2 little male spade connectors, and I'm going to plug that into where the fuse would go. That way, if I have a short somewhere, it'll just trip this little breaker. I can reset it as I'm going through the process of trying to figure out where the short is. So anyway, that's what lives in here. Again, I try to keep it pretty simple, not too much stuff going on to where I don't have to dig forever, and it just keeps things simple. If you know me, I'm all about simplicity and organization. So I'll go ahead and set this off to the side for now. All right, so moving on to all of my nut drivers and screwdrivers. I keep everything on one side, so that way it's nice and easy to get to, and it's all, again, organized. So what I've done is I really thought out exactly how I wanted this set up because I didn't want to carry too many screwdrivers, but I wanted to have enough. So what I did is, again, I have 6 total, all the way from, I guess this would be your left side and my right. I keep the large, this is like a beater screwdriver, so if I have to like hammer in anything to remove, that lives there. Right next to it, this is going to be my thermostat screwdriver. So both of these are all made by Klein. This is a very tiny screwdriver that fits in thermostats, but it gives you the nice big handle so you can do what you got to do. I don't really like those little pocket style ones. They're just too small to work with. And then I have a set of, these are all Klein, by the way, every single one of them. Now, these next 2 are going to be insulated. So we have a standard flathead, and then we have a standard Phillips. So these are if I'm getting into a live panel and I need to change a breaker out, whatever the case is, I have 2 insulated screwdrivers that's going to keep me protected depending on the work that I'm doing. So those are going to live right in the middle. So we have flathead, 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 then it goes to Phillips, and then we're going to go over to Klein's 11-in-1. This is just their standard that has the core removing bit on the other side. So, and of course your square drives in there as well. But this is pretty standard. So what I typically do is I use this one for most everything. Unless I'm doing some type of a project and I feel like I want a dedicated Phillips or dedicated flathead, I'll grab those. But typically, this is my go-to. So to accompany that 11-in-1, I have another Klein. This is the 7-in-1. Now what this does is basically has all of your nut driver, I guess that's what it's called, sizes. If I go to my drill, I currently have it on my drill. This is a 5/16 and quarter, so that's going to live typically like that. So this, if you would have bought this 7-in-1, this is what it's going to look like. So you have 1/4 inch, then you have 5/16, and then below that is 11/32, 3/8, 7/16, and then 1/2 inch. So if you grab this and you grab this, you can pretty much work and open up any panel that's out there for the most part. So what's really cool about this particular 7-in-1 though is that, again, you can remove this bit to put it directly on your drill, and Klein makes a short version, so a little 3-inch, I think is what this one is, to go into your drill, and then you can put any one of these on here. So that way it's not just handheld, but you have the power of your drill to take those bolts or nuts off. And one thing to note on this 7-in-1, right now, it's fully depressed on there. So this is what you would be using to take off like a 1/4 inch screw or something like that. But if you pull it out until it clicks just a little bit, it still holds in place. Then you can grab any other bit. I'm going to use this one. It fits right in there. It's magnetic. And now you can put whatever bit, Torx, Phillips, flathead, whatever it is, in the end of there to where this becomes very, very versatile depending on what you're working on. So I really like that, where that little function there. So all you have to do, let's say I wanted to put on the 1/2 inch, part of this bit onto my drill. You just remove this. It slides off the end. Push it on. There you go. Or flip it over if you wanted the other side, let's say the 7/16 side. There you go. And then, if you wanted, you could also use, let's say we take off all of them, and we leave the 5/16 on there. Let's say we need a longer chuck instead of that little, 2-inch or whatever size that is. You can utilize that. That goes into your drill as well. So that's pretty handy to have all of that built into one, 7-in-1 screwdriver, to where you can keep your bag lighter, more simple, and you're just not having tons of tools on you that you don't really need all of the time, right? You could always have a separate bag that's way more in depth if you know you're getting into a certain project where you're going to need some more tools, but for just everyday use, right, it just keeps things simple. So I'm really enjoying this setup by Klein. Speaking of which, the drill that I use is the Milwaukee M12. This is the Surge version. So it's basically got hydraulic fluid in there, I believe, and it just makes it so much quieter compared to a standard impact drill. And I love it. It's got the little small hook on the side, so you can put it on your tool belt, your bag, or your belt, whatever the case is. I just recently updated the batteries to the high output. This is the 2.5 output, or high output, I should say. So small, compact, but the battery lasts a long time, and it's just lightweight. And I just basically hook it on the side just like that, and that's where the drill lives. So if we dig into the front a little bit more, down in here, I don't keep a lot. I have basically a fixed blade knife, some extra blades to go along with it. I've kept this down in here just in case. I've only used it a couple times, but it's just, when I needed it, man, it was nice to have. It keeps everything all together, but it's basically these nut drivers to put into your drill. It has all of the standard 1/2 inch down to 1/4, even though I have all that. And then it also has metric, so 6mm all the way up to 12mm. I don't know, I've just been in certain situations where I needed that, and it came in clutch. So that lives down in there. I like to keep a little wire brush. Again, that's mainly because we're coming out of the heating season, so I'll probably remove that. But I don't keep much here, so it's not that big a deal. And then lastly, I just keep a clear little organizer tote. It's like a little tackle box, pretty much. And on the inside, I just have screws, spades, cores, wire nuts, fuses, any random little part that I need. So if I'm on the job, I don't have to go all the way back to the van to get something small like that. And because this is nice and small and compact, it easily slides right back down in there. So I also have a long extension. I think this is a 12-inch extension. That lives right there. And then on the side, I kind of keep everything together. On the side, I have another one, which is I think a 6-inch. So these are both Milwaukee. Just fits in this little side pocket right there, along with a Milwaukee marker, tape measure. And then this is pretty cool. So this product is made by Door Jam. They partnered up with Supco, and basically it's just like this rubber material, but as you can tell, it has 2 holes on it. But in the commercial world, we're working on rooftops, mechanical rooms, or certain rooms that they stay locked, right? They have to use a key to unlock it to open it, but as soon as, if it shuts, you're locked in or you're locked out, right? So what this does is you wrap it on one doorknob, wrap it around the door to the other doorknob, and basically it keeps it from the striker closing the door on you. And it's pretty cool because it's labeled on here too, HVAC tech working. So it's pretty nice. So it's super light. I just keep it right there on the bag. You never know when you're going to need it, and you don't want to have to run all the way down to the van to go get something that small. So I just stick it right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove this handle. So we're going to go ahead and work our way around this side. This is a tool that I get asked about all of the time. This is a Klein little service wrench. That's all it is. It's got 1/4 inch on one side and 5/16 on the other, and it's switchable, so you can change the direction, open or close, or loosening, tightening. But what I do with this, instead of using a traditional service wrench like this that has the square drives on them, and then you would have your bit that goes in there to close and open, service valves. So I keep this just in case, but instead, over here on this side, I keep 2 sets. One is standard, one is metric. And basically this gives me, let's see here, yeah, this is the standard, so 3/16, and I think this is, 5/16. Those are your standard Allen sizes for a liquid line and a vapor line valve to open and close. So basically that fits right into there, and now you can quickly open and close. You can put your finger in there to go quickly. Super nice. I really enjoy this. I've used it probably exclusively for the past couple years now, and I hardly ever use the other service wrench. So anyway, these don't come with this little ratchet. It comes with a bunch of little small bits because, again, they're 1/4 inch, so you can really put any 1/4 inch bit in there. So what's nice about it, let's say you're working in a very tight space and you need to remove a 1/4 inch screw or a 5/16 screw, you can put it directly on there and go to town. So really like that. I'm going to put links again to all of these tools down in the description below. So if you want to pick up any of these yourself, I'll make it easy for you. But these come in really nice. Obviously, we use these for all types of things. Set screws for motors and blades and things like that. So, and it's nice to have the metric side too, because everything on ductless units, when we open up the valves, those are all going to be metric and not standard. So to have the right size, it's nice to have metric. And it fits in this pocket perfectly. The way I do it is I'll have the larger side go down first, that goes up against the bag, and the other one, the smaller sides go down first, and I'll alternate the plastic there, and it just fits perfectly in that little pocket, so that's nice. Before I get too carried away, I'm going to go ahead and turn this back over here. So yeah, 2 wrenches right in that little pocket, and then I keep a little Milwaukee extra knife, which has the removable razor blades here, so you can always have a nice, fresh, super sharp knife to do whatever you need to do. And what's cool about this particular one is that it has this little feature here. So it comes out all the way, or you can, which locks at that point, but it gives you the opportunity to put a little bit in there. So right now it has the flathead and Phillips, but of course you can put in 5/16 chuck in there, whatever you need to do. It's just, I hardly ever use that, to be honest with you, but I think it's cool to have it, You could throw it in your pocket if you need to, but it lives right here on the bag. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and move around to the other side of the bag now. This is where I have all of my just, typical hand tools, pliers, things like that. So we'll start off over here. Milwaukee scissors, got to have those. These are the Malco, I believe, PVC cutters. Yeah, these are the Malco TC 400s. So those are pretty nice to have, slimlined. And pretty much most of these tools are going to be Klein. These are the I think the 9-inch Linemans. Man, I have had these things for a very long time, and they're nice. It's also a built-in hammer too, just so you know. I learned that from the electricians. These are little side cutters. I'm not sure the exact proper name for them, but dikes, side cutters, wire cutters, and they also have the built-in crimpers as well for all those spade connectors. And then these have been, or this particular brand, but specifically these have been my favorite in probably the past, 6 to 12 months. So this is a company called Knipex. Yes, that's the proper way of pronouncing, not Knipex, it's pronounced Knipex. Go to their website, it'll teach you. Anyway, these are, they make these in different sizes. I think this is like a 6 and a 10. I'm not 100% sure on that, but the links will tell you that for sure. But these are very nice. They have a smooth jaw to them, so any kind of cap, nut that you need to remove or tighten, they just easily slide up and down very quickly. These are Germany-made tools, and they are extremely high quality. I cannot say enough about this brand. Now, like this set of pliers, they're so good. You could literally put this on a nut, and you don't have to squeeze down on the handle to really apply pressure. You don't have to squeeze them at all, actually. Once it locks onto the nut, you can just, with one hand or finger, you can push it and it'll lock onto that nut and it won't let go. So you don't have to have hand strength in order to keep it locked on to whatever it is that you're trying to turn. I really like that. So, and not only that, they're pretty narrow. They're not really thick, so they work in tighter spaces. But I use these specifically, this one, and I'll go ahead and show you my other set of Knipex pliers. These are designed for pipes, so anything that's round, right? So you can see by the way the jaw is designed, and it has all the ridges in there for, to have some grip. But it's the same concept. You push this button and you slide and open and close depending on the size that you need. So these two here have really taken the place of my pipe wrenches. I don't really use pipe wrenches much anymore unless it's on bigger things. With this flat jaw, you can put this on unions, on valves, as far as like ball valves or even the gas valve itself, because it does open up large enough to be able to get onto that gas valve as a backup wrench while you're tightening that 1/2 inch gas pipe. And same thing with these. These things are no joke. They lock onto that pipe and you don't have to squeeze them like crazy in order to have that grip. So between these two, let's say you're taking apart a gas furnace or a gas package system to clean the burners or whatever you're doing, these are perfect. Not only that, but when you're doing an install and you're running, minimal piping, I wouldn't do a bunch, but just, normal stuff, these things work great. So same concept. I think this is like a 10-inch and a 6-inch on both pliers. So these all fit in this bag nicely, like so. There you go. And then I also like to keep just standard crescent wrenches. I've had these DeWalt ones. This is a 10-inch and a 6-inch, so I guess I kind of have them all going the same sizes. But I really like these because for how small they are, they open up really large. So, but if I'm being honest, since I've got these new Knipex pliers, I'm not using this very often, but it's still good to have them on here, especially since I have the spot for them and they fit perfectly. All right, so moving down here to the bottom, we have our wire strippers. These are made by Milwaukee. I used to have a set of Kleins. I mean, that's really all that I had over the past probably 20 years. But I don't know, I tried these out and I just like them. I like the way they fit in the hands. They're pretty strong and robust, so I don't know. I've just been working with them and I like them a lot. So those live down there. I like to keep a set of snips. So these are the Malco right-hand snips, reds, whatever you want to call them. So these are the Max 2000 version. I really like these, and I have a perfect spot for them right there. Moving over is just a Torpedo level. This is a Milwaukee, obviously. All aluminum. It's got some strong built-in magnets right here. So, I don't know. I've just recently been using this, and I really like it. It's just a small Torpedo level, but it works nicely. So that's pretty much everything that lives right in here. And I don't feel like I need any other tools for the most part. Day to day, all the things that I do, this pretty much covers everything. And it's in a pretty, in a small footprint. Everything fits in here nicely. There's not stuff moving and shifting around, so I don't have to worry about that. And everything has its place. So, other than a couple little odd and end things here on the front side, right? I just keep a Phillips bit here, a 3/8 drill bit that fits into that drill, so whenever I'm checking temperature drops, that sort of thing, this is the perfect size for that. And then I keep a spare chuck here. This is 5/16 and 1/4. Now the difference with this one is this is made by Malco. I forget what they call it, but I'll put a link in the description for you. It has these rugged teeth on both sides, the 1/4 and the 5/16. So no matter what side, or no matter what screw that you're trying to remove, it has these rugged teeth. And what they are designed for is if you're trying to remove a screw that is covered by duck mud, right? That hard cast mud, or even tape that's got that really thick tape around it. Instead of trying to use a screwdriver or a knife to remove it and then remove the screw, all you have to do is put this in the drill. That'll eat right through all that duck mud, and then boom, take the screw right out. Actually works very nicely. So we don't see a ton of that in my area. A lot of people just use tape. So it's not really that big of a deal, but I keep it on the bag anyway, just because when you do need it, it's super handy. And then last but not least, this little side here, I already talked about all the little Allen wrenches here, but I keep a little right angle attachment for the drill. So if I need to get into a weird spot and I need a right angle attachment, I've got it right there. And then lastly is some little side cutters. So these are like flush cuts, I think is what they're called. Whenever I'm using zip ties and cutting the excess off, I don't like to have a little tag stick out. I want it to be nice and flush. So that's what this does for you. I'm trying to look at the name of these. I don't think these are Klein. But anyhow, I'll leave a link in the description, just like I said about everything else. But all in all, that is my bag, my Veto bag for 2023. I've really been enjoying it. I've had backpacked, zipped up bags in the past, and this open style bag, I've been really, really liking. Obviously, it's not the best for when if it's raining or anything like that, but I have an umbrella if that's the case. And typically if it's raining, I'm not gonna be out working anyway, right? I'm gonna wait till it stops. But having this removable handle, it really gives me access to everything visually. I can see everything nicely. I like the fact that my meter is not in a bag. I can just grab it out and go do what I gotta do. You know, same thing with my gloves and headlamp right there. But again, having an open style bag is just super convenient. Really been enjoying it. I think they came out with a larger version than this recently. I think they even have a blacked out version, so that's pretty cool. But if you're in the market for a bag and you think an open style one like this would work for you, I highly recommend it. It's been a game changer for me, to say the least. So anyhow, that's gonna complete today's video. I really hope you guys got something out of it. You learned something along the way, and maybe you're gonna go pick one up for yourself. Maybe grab some of these tools and get to work. Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.